Okay, welcome to day 2 of simplifying derivatives. In this problem, we're being asked to simplify the second derivative, mostly because the first derivative isn't that bad. So let's take the first derivative first. We'll put our answer up here, and maybe we'll have to do stuff with it later. I'm going to say first derivative. I see blob to the 7th, so I'm going to have 7 times blob to the 6th, like that, times the root of what's inside, so we'll get 2x like that. I'm just going to bring the x out front, so I'm going to have 14x times x squared minus a squared to the 6th. All right, there's my first derivative. You see it's already simplified. I would have to factor a little bit, but they didn't ask that. They want the second derivative. So let's take the second derivative. Second derivative you can see is more complicated. Because we can't just start with a chain rule, we've got to start with a product rule. So what I'm going to do is it's the derivative of the first times the second like that, plus the derivative of the second, and that's blob to the 6th. So I'm going to go 6 times blob to the 5th times the derivative of the inside. So it's the derivative of the first times the second plus the derivative of the second times the first. I'll get like that. Now, basically, when someone says simplify a derivative, what we need to do first, and usually only, is to just look at the two big terms. Remember, terms are things that are separated by plus and minus signs. So I get like that. There's my two terms, and I just want to know what they have in common. Well, there's a 14 in both of them, so I'll take out the 14. There's an x squared minus a squared in each of them, and you always take out the lowest power. So I'm going to take out x squared minus a squared to the 5th. I'm going to wipe out with pink the stuff I've already taken out. Yes, so for example, the 14s are both gone. That's good. I took an x squared minus a squared to the 5th out of the first one. I'm going to say out of the second completely. When I take x squared minus a squared to the 5th out of the first one, all it's left with is an x squared minus a squared, so I just get that. And I just want to combine what's left. Combining what's left, here we go. I get x squared minus a squared plus 6 times 2x times x. That's plus 12x squared. Like that. I just want to combine what's in there. So I get 14. I get x squared minus a squared to the 5th. And in the brackets I get 13x squared minus a squared. Now remember, we're doing this because 9 times out of 10 we're going to want to make a sign chart, which means everything has to be factored. So let's see here. Although this looks factored, that's not the way you actually factor it in algebra class. So what we're going to do is recognize that this is actually x minus a to the 5th times x plus a to the 5th. So we'll put that there. I'm going to leave a little blank here. X minus a to the 5th times x plus a to the 5th, like that. In order to factor this, it's actually the difference of two squares. But if I want to make a sign chart out of it, that 13's got to go. So what I'm going to do is pull out the 13 and then realize what's left is the difference of two squares. So this is actually just going to be x minus a over root 13, like that, times x plus a over root 13. And we can see, for example, if we're going to start making a sign chart, that a has to go on the sign chart, and minus a has to go on the sign chart, and a over root 13 has to go on the sign chart, and minus a over root 13 has to go on the sign chart. So that is finding and simplifying the second derivative. You should go do your turn.